Now at 6, there are fresh concerns tonight about violence in New Haven in the wake of a shooting that left 2 people dead. It's the first deadly shooting in the city this year. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. It happened on Woodward Avenue yesterday afternoon. And New Haven police say this is the furthest into the year the city has gone without a homicide since 1988.
Now, police and violence prevention groups are working to prevent any potential uptick in violence this summer. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is live in New Haven now. Alicia, sounds like this is an all-out effort.
It just seems like all the hard work, that we did, to try to keep things calm, it's giving us, total reset.
Leonard Jihad, the founder and CEO of Connecticut Violence Intervention and Prevention, says incidents like the double homicide on Woodward Avenue causes a shift in the city.
Every time there is a homicide, it just resonates throughout the community.
Prior to that shooting, the city's last homicide was nearly 7 months ago. Christian Brockhart, New Haven's public information officer, says the homicide is disappointing and heartbreaking for the city. He says the fact that this is the first one of the year shows they're on the right track.
We don't want any homicides, but the fact that they're trending down and the fact that we were this far into the year without one, I think is a good sign.
Christina Martin has lived in the city for 10 years. She feels the city has only gotten safer over the years.
I personally have not felt in danger living in New Haven, and I think the reputation of New Haven as a dangerous place is overblown.
With summer vacation on the horizon, Brockhart says the city works closely with youth and violence prevention organizations.
We'd like to prevent crimes first rather than solve them. Obviously, when they happen, we're going to look to solve them.
Jihad says CTVIP uses youth programs to deter violence in the city, especially amongst young people.
As a community, as a nonprofit, we try to fill those gaps. Like they say, an idle time or idle mind, is the devil's workshop.
And we're having technical difficulties with Alicia's mic, but we'll check back in with her in the second half of the newscast at 6:30. Well, a question for you tonight: is Connecticut turning a corner when it comes to crime? A new state report shows there were fewer violent offenses and fewer property crimes in communities across the state just last year. Fox 61's Victoria Anderson took a deeper look at the numbers.
Business owners tell me these new stats are just one step in bringing people back out to some of the state's larger cities, making people feel more safe to eat, shop, drink, or even live in places like downtown Hartford. The 130-page report from the Department of Energy Services and Public Protection shows violent crime is down 7.4%, while crime against property dropped by 16.7%. This data was collected from local and state departments. And Hartford business owner Joni Morneau tells us she hopes the new drops change perceptions about the state's larger cities.
Waterbury has their assets. Bridgeport has their assets. New Haven has their assets. Let's stop bashing and saying that there's so much crime in every urban center, and let's start telling people, well, come visit and figure it out yourself if you think it's that bad, because it's really not.
Hartford, Waterbury, and Bridgeport have seen a decrease in violent crime over the past year. However, the report did find an increase in crimes against society statewide, which includes drugs and narcotic violations. Those spiked upwards of 5.7%.
The state is currently in step with national trends, which show a steady decline since the mid-pandemic peak. In Hartford, Victoria Anderson, Fox 61.
Time for a look at the weather now. We've had a lot of rain in the last 48 hours. The good news is things will be drying out for tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is standing by. Rach, it was beneficial rain. We needed it. We're ready to dry out, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we deserve it at this point. We got a nice soaking and about an inch for most of the state. And even over that for southeastern Connecticut, that was the jackpot. 70 degrees right now, so it's definitely cool for June. And taking a look at the radar, you'll see this last kind of band of showers, and it's slowly going to work its way south and east. So by 7 o'clock, I think the Hartford area is drying out, but it may take until 8 or 9 before southeastern Connecticut gets rid of this rain. So you're really close to the back edge here in Waterbury and Wolcott. very close here in Hartford. You're out of it in Bloomfield. And as we head through the overnight hours, we'll dry out. The humidity will drop back and it will turn really cool and refreshing. Right now, temperatures are near 70. Overnight lows will be in the 50s to right around 60 degrees. And tomorrow, we've got lots of sunshine. Temperatures near average for this time of year, around 80 degrees. We'll get a look at when rain returns. Your full forecast is coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. A suspicious death in Burlington this past March has now been ruled a homicide by the chief medical examiner. Officials say Janina Murphy died from blunt force injury to the head. Investigators found her body in a home on Clare Hill Road back on March 29th. A man by the name of Cole Warhan has been tied to Murphy's death, as he was the only other person in the home at the time her death was reported. He hasn't been charged, but he is facing several domestic violence charges in relation to other women.
And also happening in Burlington, investigators say 2 of the remains found in a home on Stanwich Lane belong to a mother and her son. Officials positively identified those remains as Sally Ann Cash and her son Brian Cash. At this time, investigators say they're waiting for DNA analysis to confirm the identity of the 3rd set of remains found in the home. Those remains were found after a new home buyer who bought the Stanwich Lane home as is at a foreclosure auction discovered them during a walkthrough. At this time, the chief medical examiner hasn't said what caused their death, but investigators did say they don't believe it's criminal in nature.
Well, the body of a New York fisherman who was swept into Long Island Sound more than a week ago has been recovered now. Police say the body of 24-year-old Kwahiwi Edwards of Queens was found Saturday on a beach in Stratford. They say he became stranded on a reef at Fairfield's Penfield Beach and was swept away by rising tide. Now, 2 others, including a witness who jumped in to help, were rescued.
A head-on crash in Rocky Hill sent 2 people to the hospital. EMS, police, and the fire department were dispatched just after 2 p.m. yesterday to that crash on West Street near the I-91 ramps. We are told the people who received injuries are expected to be okay.
Today Show host Savannah Guthrie has a new plea tonight following the revelation that a note believed to be from Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers said that she had died. Brian Abel has the latest on this case, law enforcement's response to the note, and that agonizing plea from Savannah.
Somebody knows something.
Savannah Guthrie Tuesday morning publicly reacting on the Today Show to the news that a ransom note investigators believe is from the kidnappers of her mother, Nancy, said that she had died.
This is the life that my sister lives, that I live, that my brother lives, that our extended families live, that our children live every day. And we are in agony.
The note sent to media outlets said Nancy Guthrie died shortly after the February 1st kidnapping from her Tucson, Arizona home, and that the abductors didn't mean to kill her. A week after the kidnapping, Savannah seemingly responding to that note on Instagram.
We received your message, and we understand.
If true, some experts suggest the timing of her death would match the evidence of the case.
We know that her cardiac monitor stopped reading any sort of a signal on that evening.
Details of the note were not reported at the request of law enforcement authorities in an effort to protect the investigation.
The criminals were trying to, in real time, create a defense that they didn't mean for her. It doesn't matter, but that they didn't mean for her to die.
The Pima County Sheriff's Department, the lead agency on the investigation, told CNN only that it remains active and ongoing.
We cannot be at peace. So no matter how much I try to come out here every day and smile and find that joy, and I will, I promise I will. This is a moment to tell you that we need your help. We're begging for your help.
In Washington, Brian Abel, Fox 61.
A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from using a revamped database designed to help states verify voter citizenship. That judge ruled the upgraded SAVE system improperly centralized sensitive personal information and could lead to eligible voters being wrongly removed from voter polls. The administration argued the tool is needed to identify non-citizens on voter rolls, but critics said it would threaten voter privacy and access to the ballot box. The Justice Department says it plans to continue defending the program in court. The
Supreme Court has thrown out a case that involves wearing dreadlocks in prison. A devout Rastafarian tried to sue prison officials personally for cutting his dreadlocks. In the majority ruling, Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote the lawsuit had no merit, saying local officials could not be held personally liable for damages, even though a federal law protects religious freedom. The court's 3 liberal justices dissented. The ruling will likely make it harder for believers of any faith to claim federal religious protection in prison.
Hartford's Board of Education has approved more than $494 million for the 2026-2027 fiscal year budget. Now, while some staff positions have been cut, they say there are no plans to cut any student services. District leaders confirmed with Fox 61 today that the projected deficit for the 2026 fiscal year and 2027 fiscal year is $89 million. Now, following the latest legislative session, Hartford Public Schools will receive $15 million from the state and then $10 million from the city of Hartford. But even with what officials call historic funding, that still leaves a $35 million gap. Hartford Public Schools Chief Financial Officer Caitlin Richard shared what's been driving their deficit.
People are listening to the fact that this is a structural challenge. It is not a result of financial mismanagement.
And Richard says 30% of the budget has been used toward transportation for students who don't attend Hartford Public Schools. Now, when lawmakers meet again in January, if the district needs more help, they can ask for it. The $494 million budget will go into effect on July 1st. And speaking of Hartford Public Schools, today is the last day for students before summer break. Superintendent Andre Townsell shared a message today with information about the locations students can go and get summer meals. He also reminded students and parents that the first day of the new school year is Tuesday, August 25th.
More than 350,000 Connecticut children will receive additional food assistance this summer while they're home from school. Governor Ned Lamont says families who qualify for the summer EBT program are receiving $120 per child to help cover grocery costs while school is out. In total, more than $42 million in benefits will be distributed statewide. Most eligible families were automatically enrolled. Applications remain open through the end of August.